What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, everyone? Good evening, good evening. This is Steven Perez, your host for tonight. We're going to get started shortly. So as of right now, as I see a lot of people actually logging on. So as 9 o'clock just hit, we're going to get started in about a minute or two. And just make sure, again, you turn off all your distractions. If you have your phone on, make sure you put it on vibrate. Make sure you turn off your social media because tonight is a special night that you guys don't want to miss out, because this is going to be something that's going to probably blow your mind and it's going to get you super excited like it has me excited, some of my friends excited, and of course the two gentlemen that we're waiting for, which he's actually logging on, Boss on Fire. We're both super excited. So we're just going to get started shortly. Everyone is logging on right now. So let's give them like a minute or so. And, Eddie Boss on Fire just logged in. So I know he's super excited for tonight's webinar. So we're just going to give people some time. So what's up, Eddie?
Hey, how are you, Steve? Super excited. Yeah, I missed these webinars. It's been like 2 weeks since we haven't done them, since we did that smooth swift over to Vemma. And I'm so excited to be here with you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually drinking an amazing coffee drink, just because I love coffee. And the reason why I'm drinking this amazing coffee is because this next gentleman that's actually we're going to introduce, and he's going to be here with us on this interview that Edward, Boss on Fire, and myself are going to ask him question. And but before we get started, again, let's give people like 30 seconds. Ed, I see
Yes.
the guest list right now is going crazy. I see people logging in. So this is pretty cool stuff. So before we get started, I want to make sure I can share with you guys a quick little video so you guys can have an idea who we're bringing up today, who we're actually speaking with today. So give me a minute. Can you guys see my other screen? Can you guys see it? Edward?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect. So I'm gonna make it full. Eddie, if my screen blanks out, just let me know, okay?
Alrighty.
Alrighty, so we're gonna get this video rolling.
So a lot of people are wondering what happened. Could you share what happened with us?
A few months back, we made the biggest decision of our life. I made a decision that was going to be the biggest move of my entire life. I realized that I had to do what made me happy, what was best for my family, most importantly, what was best for the team. It doesn't matter whether they're the new guys, 100 levels down, or your top guys. Regardless, if you're not feeling like they want to grow, then it's time to move on. Probably one of the most crushing, devastating decisions I've made. So when that moment came and we finally made the decision to resign, that was a very emotional moment. We knew that if we were going to do it all over again and start from scratch, that was going to be a very big deal. We knew there was a lot of people counting on us. We knew that this was going to affect a lot of people's lives. I want to be part of an organization. I want to be part of a culture that can stretch me, that can grow me, that can push us and really take us to the level that I believe that we're capable of getting to. We're looking for a company that had the right leadership, the company that had the right product, the company that had the right compensation plan and was positioned for the future. That's what we faced, is being able to find a culture that is going to stretch everybody, because we really saw the champions in them. So we jumped on a plane and we went city to city to city, talked to owner after top earner after top networker, met some of the best in the entire game. And after networking with all of these people, and these are guys that I respect, these are the people that I studied, these were the people's books that I read. After meeting all these people, there was one person that kept coming up. The funny thing is, every one of their competitors talked so highly of him. He was practically the most celebrated CEO in our industry. From where I stood, I had to lock arms with this guy. I had to be a part of what he was doing.
There was one person that, in my opinion, had the most respect from anyone. That was BK.
Meeting him and seeing what he'd been doing for the last 10 years and the 50 countries that he'd expanded to, and all the branding that he'd been able to accomplish, the awards he's won, and the innovation that he has, the product quality, everything just made sense.
To me, it's all about track record. To me, it's all about what have you already done already. And having someone like a BK who's already paid out close to $1 billion in commissions in his career, I said, these guys are people that I want to play with.
All the people that once believed, they used to get goosebumps being in the audience, being on stage, fired up, opening up business globally, that may have either lost that along the way or somehow felt like that dream wasn't possible anymore. All of that is alive again.
And all I know for sure is that we're going to make it. And we're going to build one of the biggest network marketing organizations on the planet.
This team is going to create history not just inside of Vemma, but inside of network marketing. The entire industry. We're putting everybody on notice. We're coming. We're coming big and we're coming strong. We're going to take this company to $1 billion. And then several billion after that. This will be one of the most exciting journeys you will ever participate
Woo!
Oh yeah.
That video just gives me
only at the top,
some chills.
not in Vemma, because you can bring people with you.
Anyways, Eddie, were you able to watch? Were you guys able to see the video?
Yeah, it was clear. I heard it perfectly.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. I just want to share like how I feel every time I watch this video. I just get the chills, and I'm so inspired with the message from these top leaders, especially the next gentleman that you guys probably see already on the screen. If you haven't, we actually, Eddie and I see him. That's gonna be actually here speaking to us. Eddie, how do you feel about that video? Like, how does that make you feel?
Well, I get chills as well, chills that are multiplying all the time when I see Sheel and Eddie talk, and I'm so blessed to, to actually feel that they are part of our team and they're our leaders, and it's just leading us in the right direction where our group, our team can really go. That's what we call team domination.
Absolutely, absolutely, team domination. And as we all know, some of you guys seen the webinar, the countdown. Today is the day, our first actually Google Hangout with this amazing product and this amazing opportunity. And I am so grateful, and I thank the next person that we're gonna introduce, and we're gonna talk to him. We're gonna have a conversation with him, because as you guys can see in the title, it said 22 days, a man that was able to break records in the current company he's involved in, and that are so grateful to also be part of it. And as you guys can see, I don't know if Sheel is able to hear us out, but Sheel Patel is actually that I've watched for many years. I'm so fortunate enough that he's been my friend for quite some time. He actually saw me going through some transition, and he's always been there for me in terms of being a friend, being a mentor, and just being a leader to inspire a lot of people, including like myself. And I always believed back in the days that one day I'm gonna be able to speak with Sheel. One day I'm able to train with Sheel, and today is one of those days that we're able to actually have a conversation, and then we're gonna ask him so many questions, how he was able to achieve such an amazing success. And if people are just amazed with the results that he's created, not only with himself in his business, but also personally in his life. And first things first, I want to thank him so much, because I know he's all the way in Mexico. He's actually has business in Mexico, so he's in Mexico right now, and he's a little under the weather. And he texts me from Mexico. He goes, Steve, I'm just gonna take a little nap, and I'm gonna be ready to rock and roll with you guys, for this webinar. So with no further ado, Sheel Patel, are you able to hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Okay.
Welcome. The video. Is the video working?
No, no. We see you being a nice picture of you just being happy.
Yeah, I don't know why the picture's not working, but yeah, that I'm here.
Okay, well, hey, I mean, at least you're here. So, thank you, Sheel, for actually logging on, um, at a Google Hangout with Edgar Boss on Fire and myself. And we have a lot of people here on the webinar, from representative, from prospects that are just curious to get to know who you are and who this gentleman Sheel Patel is. Like, because we talk about Sheel Patel so much that everyone's just curious. But before we continue, Sheel, thank you again. And I know you're in Mexico and you're a little under the weather. And I guess going forward, I guess can you share with us how did where you from and how did you all started with being an entrepreneur?
Definitely, definitely. Thanks for having me, brother. Thanks, Edward, Boss on Fire. Love that smile, man. I can see you guys. This thing's so cool, man. I'm new to all this. Anyhow, let me kind of give you guys a little backstory. First of all, hello to everybody on the call that's listening in from wherever you are. What's really awesome about the world that we live in today is very different from the world that I lived in a little over a decade ago when I first became an entrepreneur. And it's so humbling because I see all the technology and the momentum that can be created. It's out of this world. It just blows my mind because when I became an entrepreneur, we were still using dial-up internet. Actually, people barely even had internet 11 years ago, believe it or not. And there was definitely very little high-speed internet back then. In fact, the business that I got started in was selling dial-up internet. So it just kind of gives you an idea of just how far we've come as a people. And for me, if you were to look way back even to my family, give you guys my way back story. My mom and dad actually grew up in villages, and so they had no running water, no electricity. They had an arranged marriage in a very remote part of India, and it's crazy how their whole life has turned into what it is today, and how I got here, because they had an arranged marriage. They met for 15 minutes. A month later, they were married. 6 months later, my mom was in America, and 9 months later, I was born. And so if you could imagine how quickly, how fast, their life was moving, and how I grew up was very, very interesting is the word. My parents didn't even know each other, so I got to give them a lot of credit. They did a fine, fantastic job at giving me everything that I needed, and then some. I grew up with my dad as my hero, and they taught me really good values, really good ethics. I would go to temple, and I was a good kid. And my dad and my mom worked so hard that it really gave me such a fire to want to go and kind of give back, make them proud. And I would see them fight, and most of the time they would fight, it was about money. And I'm sure you guys could all agree, all across the board in the world, that's usually one of the most common reasons that pull a family apart. And it made me want to not be at home. I'd watch TV shows like Full House and Family Matters and feel like, why isn't my family like that? And that was the beginning of the entire story. Is I really just wanted to make my parents proud. And so I owe them a lot to take risks and want to come to this great country and great nation. I don't know if everybody's from America or not, but where I grew up, that was a blessing in itself. And that's where it started, brother. And I was in college, I was in school, When I first learned about this whole idea of entrepreneurship, it was a very strange word for me. Didn't know a lot about it because everyone I was around, they all just got jobs. All my family, my friends, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, everyone was a very job-driven mentality where you work for somebody. Success is considered having a good job where you wear shirt, suit, tie, and you work in an office. That's successful in our family's eyes. You know, doctor, lawyer, or engineer, one or the other. Anything less, you are excommunicated from the family. And so I was kind of like a black sheep because, you know, at an early age, I just didn't buy into any of those things. You know, I thought, hey, you know, I'm seeing people that have an incredible lifestyle. Bumped into my first mentor, and that's where a lot of things turned on for me. My mentality, my whole mindset changed. And I think it's safe to say for anybody on this call, the same thing will happen for you. Once you know a little bit better, you can never go back to being the same. You know, once you know there's a better way, once you know that you don't have to live life paycheck to paycheck, once you know that you don't have to live on someone else's terms and that you can live your life by design and that you can be the architect, you can never go back. And so, you know, yes, I'm in a strange country. I'm not from Mexico, but I'm out here for a 10-day trip with a big team that we're growing out here. I was a little under the weather, and I pulled some time aside to come and talk to you guys about how that could become a reality for all of you, because, you know, now I get to share the story, and the story in itself has taken a life of its own and is really inspiring. Even when I hear it, you know, when I'm talking to myself, sometimes it's surreal. Like, I was having pizza last night with some of the team, and I was like, I can't believe I get paid to socialize. You know, I can't even believe it.
That is so cool.
So, say that again?
I said that is so cool.
Yeah. And so, you know, here I am. You know, I can't tell anybody that I'm exactly where I want to be, and I don't know if I ever will, because I have this ambition to always want to do more and better my best. And so I think that, you know, for the time being, you know, when I look back and I look at the breadcrumb trail, we've accomplished quite a bit. I can say that I've done what I set out to do initially, which was take care of my family and my friends and build an empire. And so we've gotten to that point where, you know, we've helped dozens of people, you know, put them in luxury cars and create an extra paycheck, an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, dozens and dozens and dozens of people. We've helped several people create a six-figure income for themselves. And it's become exciting because now we're looking forward to creating millionaires in the upcoming years. And, you know, I never thought I'd be able to check off all these things on my, you know, life list all before the age of 30. You know, I just turned 30. And to be able to experience all that inside of a short period of time that people usually retire to experience, you know, I owe it to the whole idea of being able to work for yourself, being able to be involved in business and in creating an empire that, you know, luckily is ongoing and it's residual, and that's the type of business I got myself involved with. And, you know, it just happened to be that sometimes when you have a good attitude and you're around good people and you're always striving, good things happen to you, you know. And so that's where I'm at today. You know, I get to travel. My lifestyle is plentiful and abundant. My mindset, my mentality is plentiful and abundant. I get to eat what I want, wear what I want, go where I want, drive what I want, live where I want, travel where I want. The places I've gone to is phenomenal. I can't even imagine. When I look at the list of things that I've done in my life, maybe at the end of this call I'll get to read it to you guys. I wrote a little blog the other day, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't even imagine that I'd be here by this time in life. So, you know, I owe it to the people that have got me here, mentors, family, parents, God, and you know, I'm humbled and blessed, and I'm happy to be on this call with you guys too. So I hope that answers that question.
Yes, it definitely did. And that's so cool. Like the lifestyle that you definitely are currently living, and on top of that, not only yourself, but you're helping so many people do the same thing. And you know, we have a cool tribe here that, you know, we love asking lots of questions, and what you share with us seems like so cool. But we want to, I guess, we want to know, like, how did everything start? I know you said, you know, you wanted to make your parents happy, but how did you get introduced to business? Because there's so much businesses out there, from having a franchise, from owning your own restaurants or your own business, and different types of business. But, you know, how did it start, and why did you choose this industry that we are all in, and we're sharing with our friends over here?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, because you can do anything, and there are so many things. Quick question though, real quick, Steven. Is this camera gonna work or not? Not really.
I mean, we can't see you. We can only see.
Okay.
We can only see the default picture, unless you there should be like a.
What usually happens, Sheel, if you click on the like if you're gonna write a message and then you click back on the video camera, you'll be back on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They believe you're gonna write something, but you don't write anything, and then you go click on the video call again, and then you'll be live again.
It didn't work, but
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Not really too sure.
Well, what we can do is you can log off and just log back in.
Hang on 1 second, guys. Can you guys call Danny?
No.
Daniel. Danielero.
Sí.
Sí.
He hasn't said us anything yet.
Okay, check the WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, check WhatsApp, because I'm on a conference and they moved the meeting.
Yeah.
Move. How do you guys say moved in Spanish?
Movió.
Movió?
Lo movieron.
Movió. Okay, I'm on a conference right now, that's why.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, call Danny.
Okay.
Daniel.
Thanks.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Sorry, everybody.
It's okay. Sheel, I actually send you like a little message where you can probably click on and you can present to everyone.
Okay, cool. Didn't know if I don't have anything, but what is it showing my screen?
No, it should show you.
It shows me.
It should.
No, I don't have anything. It's all good. Let me
Okay.
continue. What was it? Where were we? Sorry about that, guys. Got interrupted. You were
No,
asking me.
You know, what I said is the question was this, like, you know, you fell into that you wanted to be an entrepreneur. You knew that you wanted to make your parents happy. Out of all the ways of being an entrepreneur, why did you choose this path instead of like maybe owning a franchise or opening up your own restaurant or doing other thing? Why network marketing? What got you into this industry?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, Steven. So, you know, there is a documentary actually that really was able to put it in the best way to describe a lot of the reasons. It's called The Rise. When you guys get a chance, you know, Google it, check it out, get your hands on this DVD. Wonderful, wonderful reference. But, you know, that's a fairly new movie. And back in the day, I was a broke 19 college student, 19 years old, and you know, with no money, no experience, young. I never won the lottery. I wasn't rich. I didn't inherit any money. I didn't have a degree. So it wasn't like I had a lot of advantages, but what I did have was ambition. I had courage, and I really had a nothing to lose mentality. And so really that is already prime for entrepreneurship. When you are willing to take risks, when you are willing to go out there and possibly lose. And so for me, there wasn't much more that I could lose. So it wasn't a lot of thinking. I said, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead head first. And for a lot of people, when they're looking for a non-risk opportunity, I really believe that with no risk comes very little reward. And that's something that is a very important lesson for everybody. When there's no risk, there's no reward. And you get nothing in this world without giving, without working a little harder than everybody else, and so nothing good comes easy. That's what I believe, right? You want something great in life, you cannot expect it to be easy. I got people blowing up my phone, oh man, this is hard, or I'm going through this challenge. And really, you should embrace challenge, and you should always embrace tough times, because you're on the right track. That there is a bigger reward at the end of that tunnel, And so, no marketing just gives the average person and the common man the opportunity to be a little uncommon. And for me, that was me. I was average. I grew up average. All I knew was average. I thought rich people were bad people. I thought money was evil, and I had all these misconceptions of what I thought was the world. But in reality, that was just very bad blocks and limitations that I allowed people. And I gotta say, broke opinions to become my reality at that point. And I was programmed, and so I opened up my mind and I said, hey, this may not be conventional. And we took the path of network marketing. And so network marketing today generates, and I started realizing and learning about a lot of this as I went. I went on pure naivety. And sometimes you got to be naive enough to believe in yourself. Sometimes you got to be naive enough to listen to experts. Naive enough to believe that in people that have done it before you, and that's what I did. At 19 years old, it was one of the most humbling experiences, because at my jobs, I had 2 or 3 jobs, and I was going to school at the time, but I was hustling and working my butt off to make money and to go out there and build this business. It was the craziest thing for me, because I had always, everything I had done, I had created a lot of success prior to getting started there. No matter what it was, whether it was school, sports, everything, I had always succeeded. And for the first time ever, I had experienced rejection on a mass scale. Public speaking, the reason why it's the #1 fear known to mankind, next to being burnt alive, is because it's the fear of rejection publicly, right? And so the reality is, people aren't afraid to speak publicly, they're just afraid of rejection. And public speaking happens to be the fear of that rejection publicly. And so, our group started growing, and in our nature of business, you can get paid from creating a network. So we were kind of building a Facebook before there was a Facebook, before it ever went, online and virtual. Except you were getting paid for that, So if you can imagine Amazon and Facebook before there was an Amazon and Facebook, then that is what it became. And so to me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, you look at all the other business opportunities out there. You want a franchise? My parents in 2007 started a Subway sandwich franchise business. Okay, wow. Invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this past year, and they had a convenience store attached to it. And this past year, there was a Walgreens that opened up right next door and put them out of business, and they had to sell that business. And wow. It wasn't until actually almost 2 or 3 months ago I had to wire them a big chunk of change a large sum of money to help them kind of get out of the hole and go buy a different business for them. And luckily, I'm in the position where I can do that, because my business has nothing to do with if someone opens up a store next to you, or the recession or the economy, or I make money on 24 different time zones. My business is in 12 countries. My business has nothing to do with outside elements. And so, fortunately for me, I've been able to see just a different side of making money and doing business. And nothing's wrong with any of those. I believe in all forms of entrepreneurship. I have a pretty extensive portfolio, and I love investments, and I love teaching a lot of my top people about how to make money and the different ways of making money. I just believe that what we've been able to do inside of this business and industry, fortunate for me. I mean, at a young age, I fell upon a business that gives you the most robust type of cash flow that you could ever have and find anywhere in the world. I mean, I have no expenses. Even my expenses that I have are business write-offs. Some of the benefits that are involved in having a home-based business is out of this world. You can write off, for example, your auto delivery. Every month there is an activation to keep your business active, and it just so happens that auto delivery is expensible. Team bonuses and trips and my travel, my cell phone, everything that's a business expense is a write-off at the end of the year. And it's some of the best benefits. I mean, I could sit here and talk all day about money and numbers, and that gets fun and exciting, but home-based businesses has some amazing advantages, and that I ended up digging into those things while going through it. So today, our new generations of people that come along and get started in our business, they get the best part of it, because they don't have to go through that failure or that trying time. They just get the training. And so, that's a little bit of why I chose to go down this road versus anything else. I'd say if I were to add anything to that, there's a lot of support. Who doesn't want to have help along the way, and a team that'll help you do it and get there? And so that really attracted me. I've always been about team ball, and I've always believed that if you're going to become successful, you're going to need all the help you can get. And in our type of business, more than anything else, you're going to get people that want you to succeed, want you to win, and that's a perfect business model in my book.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
No liability.
What happened to you?
I said no liabilities. I mean, it's a dream come true.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, yeah, thank you for that answer. Before I know, Edward has a question for you as well. But before I continue with Edward, I just you mentioned something about a DVD, and then you said look it up. We didn't get to hear that part, just in case for some of the people that are here that didn't get a chance to actually listen to the DVD that you recommended, that you watched, that made sense for you to join this industry. Can you repeat that? Rise of the... Okay. Got it. The Rise movie.
The Rise movie. I think it's called therisemovie.com, or you look it up. It's by Eric Worre and his company. He did a fabulous job on it.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. That's
yeah, it really goes into detail and sums it all up on some of the best advantages of home-based businesses. And so, that was the opportunity that changed my life forever at 19 years old. And here we are. So 11 years later, it's been an incredible journey.
Yep. Now, I know Edward.
Yeah,
Edward has a question for you.
Yeah, sure. How
Sure.
are you? Thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you for showing up on such a busy schedule. Thank you.
No, thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I can relate to you, like you said. Your parents, they're having their own traditional business, and it's unfortunate that they're going through right now through challenges. But those are like actually like any business goes through challenges. But I was just before a year ago before I met Steven, I was considering as well, starting my own company again, and then and through that year, I finally realized, because I had thrown the towel network marketing. That's it. One of my last company
Yeah.
about 3 years ago. But then I realized that when this company that we were involved with before, it just sparked an interest, and it sparked let's say I had to just in that moment fire my ego, humble myself, and say, wait a minute, just like success leaves clues, life leaves clues. So I listened to the
Sure.
clues that my life was giving me, and I noticed that perhaps I had to go through network marketing because maybe I wasn't prepared enough to have that right mentality to really have and own a business, because that failure rate that exists in the traditional business or any business, 98%. And I mean, I feel that it's probably because of the mentality. Anybody who jumps into a business and they come from a they come from a job mentality, and then they jump into a business, they're not prepared to take such endeavor in that new business venture. And so, like I've told Stephen in other webinars, that I believe that network marketing, it is the new college degree for anybody in their 20s, 30s, even early 40s like me, because it will prepare you for the road to really in those 2 to 5 years to really have success in any endeavor you do in your life or any business. Which in my case, that's what I feel right now. And so, well, I wanted to ask you, what I mean. I believe right now, you just turned 30. I believe it's been overnight success for you, right? Am I right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's not like Hollywood, paints it. Everything's overnight. Not at all. Everything takes time, and like everything else in life, it takes time to learn the skills that will pay the bills. And I just want you to, if you could just express everybody listening tonight, how important it is that they just invest their time and be patient with this business venture that we're right now involved in. What's the mentality that will take? Because what happens with the job, you have this job mentality, and once you enter this field of network marketing, you crash because you have a different thought process. What would it take? What kind of mentality would it take for anybody on this call right now to really take the right steps, to really understand that this is the different kind of mentality that is going to take for them to be successful?
Yeah, great question, and well said. To take the experience here and look at it like it's a college degree. And if that's the case, I mean, I've got a double doctorate. Because after you go through, this amount of time, what I've realized, and a great example is a good friend of mine, the author of a book called Beach Money. And you guys should all check that out. Really, really good book. The profits of this book go to a good cause called Kiva microloans that help third world people open up businesses and stuff. So it's a great cause. Great book. One of my favorite books in this industry. It's called Beach Money. And the author of that book happens to be a really, really close friend of mine, a legend in this industry. And he comes to mind when you ask me this question, because what I learned from him was, and this is a gentleman that, I mean, he looks like he's in his 30s, but he's been in this industry for close to 40 years. And young, really cool guy, lives in Vegas, got a $3 million pad in the Mandarin Oriental, super successful. He's earning probably a little over $200,000 a month. Now remember, those results are not typical. He is the master distributor in his company. The the crazy thing about it, him and I don't benefit financially from each other, but he's still such a good friend, and some of the lessons I've learned and watched from him was exactly what you just talked about. This guy does not use any online marketing. He doesn't know about it. He doesn't know what email campaigns or video he doesn't do any YouTube. He doesn't do any autoresponders. He doesn't have any 100% of all of his income, 100% of it comes from his network marketing business. Even his book, 100% of the proceeds go to Kiva. And so, you know, very respectable man. I love it. Love what he stands for. And he's famously known as talking about how a lot of times people come into this business and they get started in a business like mine, or sometimes any business, and they want something for nothing. Something like I said earlier. They want instant gratification. They want it now. They're used to trading their time for someone else's money. But I got to tell you, time is the most precious thing you have. That is the most finest commodity you will ever own. In fact, I remember putting a post on my Facebook yesterday about that, about how time is so critical. Don't squander it. Did you know that the Titanic, had it known that there was an iceberg 30 seconds prior to knowing, it would have avoided the iceberg? 30 seconds. And so every second that we share together, every second that we're breathing on this earth is one that we should appreciate. And, you know, what he talks about is how, you know, it takes time, be patient, and just remember this, that often things that happen fast, usually crash fast as well. And you can see this a lot in, you know, nature, for example. He uses the example of the eucalyptus tree versus the oak tree. The eucalyptus tree has a very shallow root system. It doesn't go too deep. It doesn't live too long. It grows really fast. And the leaves grow really fast, and then it dies really fast. On the oak tree, on the other hand, it grows really tall, but it takes a long time. But its root system is hundreds of feet deep. That it's, you know, it's getting all the water and nutrients, but its roots are huge. You know, when you see an oak tree, it's big, but the root system is even bigger. And it takes a long time, but the oak tree lives a really long time. When you think of the Great Dane in dogs, you know, it's one of the biggest dogs, grows really fast, but it dies really fast. Swarms of insects, you know, they grow to these massive sizes really fast, but they die off really fast. You know, I can go on for days on examples of, you know, fast rise, a fast growth doesn't always mean long-term sustainable. And taking your time, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I always tell people, take your time, but hurry the hell up. You know, you cannot be patient about your success and expect that things are going to fall on your lap, but you cannot, you know, complain when things go wrong or things go bad, because I'll tell you, you cannot stop it. It is inevitable. It will happen. You will fail. You will hit rock bottom. You will have moments where you want to quit, and that's the moments that you can't, you know. And so you want something non-risky, you want something secure, and you want something that is quote-unquote safe. Get a job. You know, not the most rewarding thing in the world. Someone's going to control your fate, your destiny, but building your own business. For me, it happened to be home-based business. For me, I was fortunate enough to really, you know, find an opportunity that took the best of me, and it turned it into something that I couldn't imagine. I mean, wow. I still wake up and still sometimes feel like I'm in a dream. Like you guys heard me talking to some of the people that just crashed into my house earlier. You know, I got this little pad here, and people knocking on the door talking about where's the meeting. I just can't even imagine it. I mean, where else in the world will you get a chance to have friends everywhere? It's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully I answered your question and gave some insight and some perspective on patience and enduring challenges and hard times.
Thank you, Sheel.
Welcome.
That awesome. That was a great question, Ned, and thank you, Sheel, for actually giving an amazing response and a great answer. Definitely taking notes over here. But I guess now this is where everyone's been waiting, right? You know, the man, as the title of the webinar, 22-Day Superstar Vemma. It's not quite a secret. You are a leader in the company named Vemma. You know, Eddie and myself, we were so thankful for you introducing us to this company. So my question to you is, first things first, why Vemma?
Yeah, we had some amazing success. I was in the industry for about 10 years, getting my double doctorate degree, as Eddie Boss on Fire would call it, and I was with a company. We did all sorts of things. We started with internet, like I had mentioned. We were starting to do internet telecommunications, and you know, we had some mild success early on, and then we started doing health and nutrition, and it turned that mild success turned into wild success, and that's where you know, my life got very interesting. At 21, 22 years old. Around that time, I might have been 23, I broke my first six-figure income. And, you know, that was the year that I realized when you can have an impact on health and wellness and impact people's lives physically, emotionally, that is very profound. And for me, I grew a passion for it. You know, I grew a passion for helping people become healthy and feel good about themselves and feel confident. You know, and today most of my message across the world is about tapping into that confidence and how you can impact every part of your life with that type of confidence, whether it's your relationship, your work, your job, your school, whatever it may be. And that a lot of times the foundation of that is what you see in the mirror. You know, what you see when you look in the mirror, do you feel like you deserve it? And so, you know, I spent a lot of years, and we helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people become really, really healthy, lose thousands, I mean, tens and hundreds of thousands of people lose a lot of weight. And we took a company, you know, myself and 8 other people. We went, started from zero, and in 5 years took that company. Within that 5 years, did over $100 million in sales, and we were traveling the world. I mean, my organization grew, and we had a great time, and I had a lot of fun. We made a lot of money, and I started to realize that when it came to our company, although we had success, it still never got out of that startup phase. And, you know, every company goes from that formulation to concentration, and eventually it goes into momentum, and eventually it stables out. And you know, we talked about getting into momentum for a long time, and we never really did. And that mushroom effect is what they call it, is right at the time when it's about to explode. And it just it dawned on me that at that point, myself, one of my business partners, we were 95% of the entire country's revenue, and we had noticed that we had just outgrew our company. And I think, you know, the biggest thing to be said was sometimes you gotta give up the good for the great, if you know what I mean. And around that time, I packed my bags and I said, "Hey, I want to go from the little leagues to the big leagues." And I started networking myself with a lot of the top earners in our industry. I wanted to know what they were doing, how they were doing it, and I wanted to know how to go from hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. And sometimes for that to happen, you really got to align yourself and lock arms with those people. And I don't believe that you can really do that unless you put yourself in a place that's going to stretch you and grow you and get mentored and taught by those people. And so in that search, I looked at over 100 different companies. And, you know, in our industry, very seldom do you get a chance to do this, because usually you start in a company and you either just enjoy it and you take the ride and you go for it. You don't really think about what's left and right. And so I knew I had an opportunity at hand, and took the 90 days to do my due diligence. And there was about 20 criteria that I was looking at and looking for. And you know, there really wasn't a top 5 list after everything. After looking at all these companies and talking to all the owners and leaders and top income earners, Vemma really stood out to me. And for their products, their culture, for their pay plan, for everything that they were doing, it just really stood out to me in so many ways. And to me, Vemma was the company of the future. It was a company that I could learn and grow and stretch. And you know, we took that and ran with it. And as you guys heard Steven say, our first 22 days, we were able to break a rank that is pretty. At the time, I had no idea. You know, turns out that it's a pretty prestigious position in the company. One of the top ranks. It's called ambassador. And at that level, you know, the average ambassador is earning 30 grand a month or so, 30 to 40. And you know, it's an exciting story. But what I was more excited about was all the people that you know, within that time that came along with us for the launch. They were the ones that really benefited. I mean, they had amazing stories. From results on products to the income that they were earning compared to what they had been doing before, the simplicity, the ease, the behaviors. And so those were way more powerful to me than my one story of breaking records. And so, you know, I've always kept my priority in line, and number one on my priority list has always been the team. And so, you know, we're excited to have you guys on board with us, and so it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, man. I mean, every month now. It's been about 8 months since we've gotten started, and that's how we got involved with Vemma is due diligence, experience, and you know, we put a lot of thought into it, and so it made it very comfortable for everyone that we were focused on. As I said, the team was our number one priority, and so we wanted to make sure we could give them the best chance for success, and we really have that here in Vemma. So
that's awesome, Sheel. I know. In 22 days, you say you broke records, 30 grand a month. That's a five-figure income, and I know everyone's like, wow, 5 figures in 22 days. But before we continue with that story, guys, results are not typical, of course. Like Sheel Patel said, we need to work hard. We need to go out there, and you know, it's not overnight success. Sheel's has been, what you mentioned earlier, like a little over a decade in this industry. But before I continue, let me show you guys our income disclosure, okay? And that's our income disclosure. You guys can find that at Vemma.com income disclosure. You know, again, now, we're not promising you guys that, hey, in 22 days you join us, you're going to make 30 grand. Is it possible, Sheel? Is it possible?
possible.
It's possible. So, I mean, that's awesome. That 22 days you was able to break records and create a 5-figure income for yourself, and then along the way helped so many people. Now, and Vemma, that's what Vemma, you decided to choose Vemma along with your business partners and an organization that you've been building. Now, my question to you is this: if someone is thinking about joining Vemma, what advice do you have for them? Like they're looking into this business, they're looking into the industry. What do you have to say for them?
Yeah, and that's a great question. For anybody that's on the call today, I would really make sure I get with the person that brought you on this call first and foremost, and really review our entire plan, go over it, and I can kind of touch up on a few things here and give you guys an idea of, one is our product line. We created clinical studies. If you go to vemma.com/science, I was looking for products that people could have a really easy, simple time to use. And so most of our products are all liquid-based, which is very important. For many years, I did pills and powders, which is nothing wrong with that, and we helped a lot of people get a lot of results from that. But it's proven that liquid form is 10 times more absorbable than any pill form, and more effective. And so if there is a 95% absorption rate on liquid, that's where we started. And so we created a formula. In fact, the name is the formula, which is pretty brilliant, right? VEMMA stands for vitamins, essential minerals, mangosteen, and aloe. And I thought, wow, how smart to create a liquid multivitamin. And nowadays, I think you guys are watching our industry, and for those of you guys that are on this call, I'm going to assume everybody's pretty technically savvy, because if you can get yourself on a Google Hangout, you're pretty efficient technically. And one of the things that I'm watching as a trend today is how many products are being released by just calling it smart. A smart this or a smart that, and ever since the smartphone, people have been trying to make everything smart. Your home, make it smart. The other day I was looking at a luggage, and I saw a smart luggage that hooks up to your phone. It has a built-in scale, it has a GPS if it gets lost, and I was like, wow, that would help me a lot. My bags get lost. And when you think about smart products, those products that come along, there's very few times in the business world that this happens, or when it does. I shouldn't say that there's few times, but the moments that it does, that is when billion-dollar movements are created. Just like Apple, they don't invent anything, but they take something that is already there, and they really go and they make it really, really, really sexy. For example, computers had been out. They just made computers sexy. They didn't invent that. They didn't invent MP3 players, but they made it really sexy. They didn't invent tablets. Microsoft had a tablet 10 years before them, and no one even knew. And so they made it really sexy. And they done it so much. Even the watch that's coming out, they got the iWatch. I mean, there's a company called Pebble that's had it for a long time. But they're making it really, really sexy. And so you don't always have to be the first to be the best. And same thing with us. When you think about vitamins and nutrition, for hundreds of years, people have used vitamins. But it has not, for hundreds of years, no one has seen innovation in the nutritional world. It has always just been take your pills, take your powder, and that's it. Well, what if we could make your nutrition and your vitamins smart, right? What if we could reinvent that category? Just like when mouthwash was created and some genius came along and said, let me put this mouthwash on a breath strip, on a little packaging, same exact product, different delivery mechanism, just like Apple, just like this mouthwash, just like that luggage. And guess what? Billion-dollar movement, right? Same thing with nutrition. We have created such a smart delivery where we have liquefied it, and it's all very easy to take. It's in this little 2-ounce shot that you guys see here on the screen. And that little 2-ounce shot, taking that every day, has been proven through clinical studies that it will improve your health, and your overall immunity, decrease inflammation in the body. We use a very exotic superfruit called mangosteen from Southeast Asia, known to have properties to help wellness and well-being, and even reverse the aging process. So it's an incredible formula, and guess what we ended up doing? We said, hey, let's put this formula in other products. And so we started putting it in juice. We started putting it in tea, and in every big market that people are already massively consuming products like energy drinks and beverages that you will take already, with or without me telling you, with or without your friends telling you about it. And so we have shakes, we have snacks, like our Body Burn. It's an incredible product. It's a little 8-ounce can with 20 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber. Really delicious. And so we have everything: shots, liquid multivitamins, kids liquid multivitamins. And the beauty of all this is that we manufacture everything in-house. We are the manufacturer ourselves. We have $150 million invested into a 250,000 square foot facility. And when it comes to the product quality, when it comes to the product concept, it's too brilliant to not be able to take a look. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's almost hard to unsee what your eyes have seen. And so when I saw this, I knew we had a home run here. And so we're excited about it. We have a lot invested, and BK Boreyko, the owner of the company, was one of the biggest reasons I came here and partnered with Vemma, because I think in a horse race is the best example. You don't really bet on the horse, you bet on the jockey. BK Boreyko, this gentleman has paid out over $1 billion in commissions in his career. That guy right there, when you look at him and everything he's accomplished and what he's been able to do, I mean, he has a lot invested into the company. I mean, he has partnered with the NBA. We're the official energy drink of the Phoenix Suns. We are on national television every single week on a TV show called Extreme Weight Loss with Chris and Heidi Powell. Every contestant gets a year's supply. We've been on NASCAR. We've been endorsed by Jenny McCarthy with beauty, and our whole slogan is beauty from within. We just have so much. I mean, from investments from BK, that leverage creates an opportunity where you don't have to be the one that made all those investments. And because the company took that on, the opportunity that he's put together is a business model that you can come in here and have the right to go distribute, tell your friends about it, and you get a check for that. And the more that network of people starts to continue directly and indirectly, an income is tied to that. And to be honest with you guys, now really, I want everyone to really think about it. As an entrepreneur, we started this call talking about entrepreneurship. As an entrepreneur, you want to think about what is it that you could do to earn a walk-away income, a residual income where you can work one time, get paid over and over and over again for the rest of your life. Well, it really has to be tied with a product that is emotional. And you could do a lot of things in the world, but people don't fall in love with their electricity bills, or they don't fall in love with their cell phone bills or their furniture, but they fall in love with the products that they're taking and consuming every single day. And so, and then furthermore, probably our biggest seller right now, and you'll see it on the screen here, is that Body Build. It is the first ever ready-to-drink shake in the market. So when it comes to innovation, and it comes to leverage, and it comes to investment, again, we have a home run here, and Vemma it happens to be that company that right now is positioned for growth. We're on fire. We've actually, for the last 2 years in a row, done already over $200 million in sales each year. And this is only getting better. We are in a little over 50 countries, and we've won, as you guys see here, a little close to 160 awards and counting for everything that you could imagine. So we really have a company to be proud of, and you know, like Steven said, Steven and Edward both came on board with us, like maybe some of your friends here. So get with them. That's my advice. You know, if you're here checking us out, get with them to go over our pay plan, to go over how you can get paid and how you can get involved. It's very simple. What I tell everybody is if you know how to drink, then you can figure this out. You have been officially trained, because all you got to know how to do is drink, right? And that's that, brother.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sheel Patel. It was an honor to have you in on this webinar. I mean, you pretty much shared everything with us, and we are so grateful. And I know, speaking from not only myself, but from the group and our business partners and the tribe that we're building here, we're doing, you know, we're so grateful to have you as a mentor, as a leader that's helping us achieve, you know, the goals and dreams that we want to achieve. And you know, that being said, Ed, do you have anything else before we close off this webinar?
Oh, well, thank you, Sheel, for coming on tonight. I know you're in a busy schedule, a 10-day over there building your team in Mexico. I'm so excited for you building your team out there and just taking the time just to get on this webinar. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, both of you guys. Edward, Boss on Fire, Steven, the rest of you guys, wherever you're from in the world, thanks for coming on. And you guys can check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and whatnot. And, you know, stay connected. And, you know, it's a pleasure. And I look forward to many more with you guys. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. We're actually having a local event for anybody in the New England area. March 7th, I will be there. We're going to be Skyping BK in. We got Milton Olave, who's a presidential out in Jersey, actually, so he's not too far from you guys, Steven and Edward. I know you guys are out there in New York, and so check that out. You can go to right here. We got ilovevemma.com is our team site. We got a bunch of events and so much going on with us. So again, check us out. Thanks for coming on today, everybody. Really appreciate all of your support and love, and much love to you guys. I wish you all the best in your lives and your businesses and your families. God bless you all, and thanks for having me, and here's to next time, okay? Have a great year. Have a great time. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Sheel. Bye, Eddie, and thank you, everyone. Bye.